Why didn't Princess Diana's family sue Mercedes-Benz? May 23rd, 2011. Timothy and Religion press release. The future of lawsuits is against automobile, gun, and bullet makers. These lawsuits didn't work before because we did not have the internet. It was easy for big institutions to tell people they could not sue. It was easy for them to pass laws so they could not be sued without the masses knowing about it. It was easy for them to threaten and intimidate people into dropping their lawsuits. But now people are waking up to the truth. People are buying security systems and security cameras, and threats and intimidation is not working anymore. People realize the purpose of lawsuits is to prevent injuries and deaths, and not just an excuse for someone to take money from a big corporation, like we have all been brainwashed to believe. We have all seen the videos on the 4 news channels run by industry of the person who faked injury and was trying to sue one of the car companies. But what about the thousands of people who are injured and never get a penny? What about the people who are paralyzed and barely got medical expenses for their injuries? The question should be asked, how is it possible the automobile companies are still making a profit after even one guy has been paralyzed? I mean, they should be in prison. Forget about that. They don't have enough money to pay for a guy's injury. I was injured on the job, and people believe I'm faking an injury to get automobile companies money. I look at them as if they are insane. Do you really believe the automobile companies should even make a penny of profit after I was injured? Do you really think that it causes me no pain every time I see another man injured because I did not sue the companies for every penny they own and any future income if they ever decide to start another business? The pain and suffering from my job injury was one thing, but the pain and suffering from knowing they are still in business injuring others is another thing. What makes the car companies think they can manufacture a car that goes faster than the legal limit and not be sued? Most of us cannot afford lawyers. But why didn't Princess Diana's family sue Mercedes-Benz? Was it because they thought she deserved to die? Was it because they did not love her? Was it because they didn't think they could win a lawsuit against a big corporation? Or were they so depressed from the death they didn't think about others? Suing cannot bring a dead person back to life. But what suing does is prevents other people from being killed under the same conditions. There were several lawsuits that could have been filed. A lawsuit against the bar that served the driver too many drinks. A lawsuit against the city for not designing bridges with impact zones. A lawsuit against Mercedes for making a car that had the ability to go faster than the, quote, legal speed limit. Why do car companies make cars go faster than the legal speed limit? Is it because they want to sell their cars to law-breaking criminals? Is it because they have so much money they are hoping someone will sue them for millions? The answer could only be they want to be sued. They set themselves up for a lawsuit as soon as they decided to design a car that would go faster than the legal speed limit. I think they set themselves up for a lawsuit as soon as they design a car that would go faster than 10 miles an hour, a speed which the scientists said would injure and kill people. They got seatbelt buzzards, and it would not be hard to put a buzzard on the speedometer sound off if the car was going faster than the legal speed limit. It would not be hard to put a governor on a car to make sure it doesn't go faster than the legal limit in the state that they are sold. Sure, some people have disabled the seatbelt buzzards, but when they have accidents, they are sued for millions of dollars for doing so. Thousands of people die in car accidents, and their relatives don't sue. This causes thousands of other people to lose their lives. Is this what Princess Diana wanted? To cost other people their lives? I believe most people don't sue because the death of the relative causes them severe depression, and the laws limit the amount of time you can file a lawsuit. Well, those laws are put on the books by the big car companies, not by people, so they're invalid. If a relative dies in a car accident and you suffer depression for 20 years, you should still be able to file a lawsuit. And the lawsuit should be for more money because you were depressed for 20 years. The idea that you must file it before you even mourn and bury the death of your dead relative is just ridiculous. And the car companies know it. They know that if your relative dies in a car accident, they know you're going to be depressed for at least a few years, so they limit the time to 1 year. Well, nobody's going to file a lawsuit within 1 year. They're too depressed. Thousands are killed by guns and bullets, and no one sues the gun makers or the NRA. Someone said it is because they are so powerful, they are able to pass laws that make it illegal to sue them. Others say the gun lobby uses threats and intimidation. Lawyers and victims are afraid to sue them. That's nonsense. This is the United States of America. We are a free country. You can sue anybody you want to. The more threats and intimidation, the more money you ask for in your lawsuit, until they learn they should not give threats and intimidation, because it's going to cost them more money. My lawsuit started out at $2 million. Now it's up to $450 billion because of all the threats and intimidations. They turned my friends and family against me. They have my neighbors spying on me. You think that's not going to cost them? Good luck settling for less than $450 billion now. Don't worry if I die before I win. The followers of my religion will continue the lawsuit with penalties and interest. So it's going to be far more than $450 billion by the time they settle. Someone tells you you can't sue. The Constitution gives you a right to bear arms to protect us from dictators. You use your right to bear arms to kill that dictator. You tell your story before 12 jurors on how the dictator said you could not sue, or how the dictator said you were limited in what you could sue for. The 12 jurors decide if the killing was justified or if it was murder based on the facts. Your relative was killed by a gun, and the bullet slash gun maker or a lawyer said you could not sue them because of a law that got passed with their billions of dollars of profits they made from selling guns. So you shot them. If I was a juror, you're not guilty. You're a hero. You probably saved thousands of lives by killing that lawyer, bullet, or gun maker. Once the prisons are filled up and there's no more lawyers to protect the bullet, gun, and car makers, the world's going to be a lot better place to live. You can sue bullet makers because they could have sold less than lethal bullets. They didn't want to because they said they could not be sued. The automobile manufacturers knew that if they made a car go faster than 10 miles per hour, people would be injured and killed by them. But they made them anyway. Either because they wanted to be sued, or they are fucking murderers.